Good morning. So this is the second session of the Reconnect Hartcliffe project, and today me and my son Gil have just nipped up to Bemmy down to the fields around the back there, and we're going to be looking for the ingredients for our next amazing recipe, and these two are absolute beauties. All the stuff's real simple again, don't need loads of ingredients. Today we're looking for, what are we looking for, mate?
Stinging nettles and plantain.
Right, we're out then. We're out chopping some stinging nettles for our next recipe. There they are. Right. Nice one, mate. Definitely gloves. Take gloves, take scissors. Only chop the top, so you only want the smaller leaves, because they'll be sweeter and tastier. And I guess with the first recipe, you probably only need like a couple of handfuls of the stinging nettles. But if I reckon if you get like 4 or 5 handfuls of the stinging nettles, you'll have enough for both of the recipes we're going to do. This stuff is like super juice, so you've got vitamin A, vitamin C, and the amount of iron, like you would have heard about what it's like with spinach having loads of iron. Stinging nettles have been used for loads of things over time. The Scandinavians used to use them to make clothing. Not even that long ago, we were using them over here around the time of the Second World War to make the dye for camouflage netting. And you can use the stems and make that into cordage for den building. Anywhere where there's people that are walking all the time, the Native American Indians used to call it Englishman's foot. It loves rough treatment. 2 different types. You've got this type of plantain here, is lesser plantain, ribwort. Okay, you can tell by the shape of the leaf there. Oh, look at that. And then right next to it, you've got greater plantain. And again, you can see the leaf is slightly different. The greater plantain actually has got a really mushroomy flavour, but we'll be using that in another recipe another day. So the Ribwort Plantain, just to show you, it grows everywhere. And you'll identify it better by just looking at those long veins or ribs that go up the leaf. Literally everywhere. Like, I'm showing you this from my garden, because it might mean you ain't got to go out anywhere. If you haven't got a garden, just have a look at your local park. It's absolutely everywhere. Stinging nettles and the Ribwort Plantain, you should be able to get even from the side of your house. Now we're back. We want to pick the tops of the stinging nettles and chuck them in a colander, and then the bigger leaves that are on the thicker parts of the stalks, we want to rip them off and chuck them straight into the sieve or the colander. Basically, we're going to wash them. Don't be fooled by this green mass and think, how's this going to make anything tasty? This is going to be lush. Guaranteed, tried and tested, this one. So we're going to do, first of all, we're going to do stinging nettle soup. But what we're doing, we're going to blanch, slightly boil these stinging nettles for 5 minutes. Just cover them with boiling water in a pot. And then we can use a certain amount for the stinging nettle soup. And then the second recipe we're going to do is like a Sag Paneer or Sag Aloo, basically a bit of a curry. That is a showstopper with not that much ingredients as well. So first off, let's get all this stuff in there, wash it first, then put it in the pot, 5 minutes, and then we'll be back. Next part, boiled kettle, stick your stinging nettles with just enough water that covers them. And then what you can do as well, so you start boiling them for 5 minutes. Remember I said to you about there's different medicinal qualities. I'm no herbal doctor, but you've got your plantain. While you're waiting, chuck a little bit into a cup. Plantain's got loads of different herbal qualities and medicinal qualities. It's antiseptic, antihistamine. If you sting yourself, like I said earlier, or you get a bite, you rub it on yourself, it helps you there. It's got anti-inflammatory qualities, the lot. Stinger nettles again, that's full of loads of stuff. It's a liver cleanser, diuretic, clears up skin, it helps with arthritis and joint pain. People use it for a tonic. What I try and do is get someone that is the knowledge on this stuff, and we do a session on the medicinal qualities. But whilst you're waiting for your stinger nettles to boil up for 5 minutes, pour yourself a cup of tea, whack a bit of honey in, let that steep for 5 minutes as well. So there we go, after 5 minutes, that's the nettles nicely boiled down there. You've got the chopped onion, we've got a little bit of garlic if you want to add garlic, chopped up 2 potatoes and a decent knob of butter. Chuck the butter in a pan, wallop, then chuck the onion in. So we sweated down the onions, there's a little bit of garlic in there, and there's the butter, you don't have to put the garlic in. And now, we chuck the potatoes in. And we put in the blanched nettles as well. So remember, we've done it like this because we're going to use some for another dish. Chuck it in. Fry that off for a couple of minutes. Get it all mixed together, all the flavours coming together. And then what we're going to do next is boil your kettle. You want to use stock of any description, basically, veg stock, chicken stock, whatever you got, and you want to have roughly a litre. And one of these things is basically half a litre. Fry this off for another couple of minutes and then pour the stock over the top, 1 litre of that, and then leave that to cook off for about 20-25 minutes, and then we'll finish it off. Okay, 25 minutes done, and the spuds, when you stick the fork into the pan, should literally just fall off the fork. You could, as you're cooking that, normally if you don't like a smooth soup, just crush it a little bit with a spoon as you go on, and it'll be quite textured and nice. There's absolutely no way my kids are going to eat that unless it's blended, and even then I'm going to have to hide it with cheese. They might say no. So we've blitzed ours, and now we're going to put the seasoning in. Do you want to give that a couple of twists, girl? Give it loads of twists, because salt makes everything taste better.
Not too much.
You will.
I don't like your salt.
Do you want to do you want to do the pepper? Yeah?
Oh, I want to do it by myself.
And then, well done, Susie. What's it? Do you want to put a big dollop of that in, Gil? So we're using creme fraiche, but basically that's just because what the recipe said. You could use yogurt. Move that away now. Woo! You could use yogurt. You could use
Do you mix it now?
thick cream. Yeah. Do you want to mix it in? Just mix it in a little bit. Swirl it around. And then what we're going to do to make sure that these lot eat it is to then put some grated cheese on top. If you've got any of this at home, whack a bit in. If you haven't, don't worry, it doesn't really matter. But nutmeg, a bit of a spice.
Are you going to put all of it in?
Not all of it. I've just been told I'm not allowed. Right, mix that in then. So half a teaspoon would be alright for that.
Spoon?
So you're going to taste it and have to see your facial expression, because this is going to be the real deal. Any good? Oh my word, that's great. Kids don't lie. Gil, you haven't even put any cheese in it yet as well, amazing. Try it, try a little bit. What do you reckon?
This is the best soup in the whole world.
Oh my god, that's the biggest shock I've had this year. There we go then. Stinger nettle soup. Okay, so I chopped up my onion. I'm going to fry that up to start with. You don't have to have all these other bits, but I'm going to put these bits in. You could just fry that onion up and then chuck in some of this. Basically, about 2 tablespoons garam masala. Instead of buying a million different spices, just get that. It's got loads of stuff in and it'll make it taste decent. And then what you're going to do, you would have already by this point boiled up your plantain and your nettles, and afterwards just squeeze it. I've already squeezed mine, but just squeeze it, get all the excess juice out of it, and then chop that up. Once you've fried up your onion, if you want to put garlic, ginger, chilli and some tomatoes in, fry all that together. Chop up your plantain, your nettles, chuck that in, a couple of tablespoons of garam masala, and then we're nearly ready for the next stage. Okay, so we now got the plantain chopped up and the nettles chopped up and everything in there. The only thing that's not in there now is the creme fraiche or the yogurt or the cream, which we'll put in a little bit later. Now what we're going to do, once this is cooked through slightly, we're going to give it a couple of minutes just to cook through. Then we're going to take it out, put it on a plate, and then we're going to chop up the paneer into little cubes and then fry that off and brown that off. Whilst we're doing that, chuck the rice on now with boiling water for 10 minutes. And eventually this should all come together at the same time. So we're getting closer to the business end now. You've got your rice on. You've got your paneer, sag paneer mix there. You've now got the paneer chopped up, the cheese, and remember this could just be potatoes that are chopped up and been boiled for about 10 minutes and then chopped up. Doing exactly the same thing. All you're doing is frying these off so they get browned. Once that happens, we're going to chuck this mix back into the pan, and then we start mixing through some creme fraiche or yogurt or thick cream. So, that's because you just had 2 meals cooked for you and I'm cooking another one. Salt and pepper. What a joy this is. We won't be doing 3 dishes next week.
Yes, in a minute. Hang on in a minute.
And this is us.
That's fun. That's fun, is it?
Now I can't imagine that many kids at home are going to be eating this. Hence why I cooked my son and daughter something completely different. But they don't fancy that. So I'm going to see the look on their face when they attempt this. With chilies in. There we go. That's it. All done. If you got any coriander hanging around, chuck a bit on. If you haven't, doesn't matter, don't need it. Stinger nettle and plantain paneer.